Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Angelo here, and this is a story called Fighting, and what we're going to be doing today is breaking down a video of a TikToker brawl. I know, the very much anticipated fight of the year between two formidable opponents who post mini dances while making interesting facial expressions on an app called TikTok. I know. This one's gonna be a barn burner, so you better keep your eyes open because any one of these TikTokers could get knocked out at any minute. All right, so we're gonna be breaking it down now. This is between I don't really know if anyone on this channel is gonna want to follow TikTokers, but anyways, TikTokers sometimes have like houses. They'll have like these content houses, like the Clubhouse and the Sway House and the Hype House, and it's basically where a bunch of little TikTokers live, and they all make these funny little dances and get views and stuff like that and share dance moves. I know, it's kind of weird. But anyways, one member was talking shit about another member, and now they decided to settle their TikTok dance beef with some boxing gloves. So we're going to be breaking it down. Now, this is a fight between the Hype House and Sway House. If you know who Tayler Holder is, he's in the Hype House, and his friend apparently was talking shit to someone in the Sway House, Josh Richards' friend, who I don't know the name of Josh Richards' friend who's in the Sway House. Well, actually, I don't think his friend is in the Sway House, but Josh Richards is in the Sway House, and his friend was talking shit to a member of the Hype House. I know, tons of drama. But we're going to be breaking it down here and looking at what these TikTokers got, see if they can bang or not, see if they're as good as their dance, see if they're as bad as their dance moves are or not. So let's get into it. I'm not going to get into too much of what they do or who they are as people. I do know a little bit about Tayler Holder. Seems like actually a pretty cool guy. One of the bearable TikTokers, if you will. But I forgot to mention Jake Paul's in this video, which means now it's worth watching. It was a piece of shit before this, but now it's definitely worth watching. So he's going to be like one of the trainers of this kid, Michael Sanzone, along with Tayler Holder, I guess. Tayler Holder does box a little bit at this private gym he has here. So we're going to be getting into it and breaking down the boxing skills. I'm going to show you this one little clip first. It's where they ask if any of the fighters have experience, and we're going to see what they say here.
Gentlemen, we had you guys all come out here today to watch two behemoths fuck each other up. Hype House versus Sway House. The beef needs to be settled.
Caleb versus Michael here at roughly 175 pounds-ish, give or take 8 pounds for each side. We just want to know, like, where did this start? Michael, do you have anything you want to say to Caleb?
He's just in the background of everything, and he just runs his mouth a little too much, so, like, I don't know, I'm just here to stop that.
You gotta stop shit talking online, dude. That's all I gotta say.
All right, that's what we're here for.
Now, have any of you guys had any fight experience before? Caleb, I'll start with you.
No.
Box, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai.
Oh no! Okay.
All right, so we see a little bit of kind of more of a pretext, so you guys can kind of see the little bit of beef that's between these two TikTok houses, the Sway House and the Hype House. And then at the end, Jake asks both the fighters, or the TikTokers, if there's, if any of them have any experience. And one guy says no, and the other one says, yeah, very casually says boxing, jiu-jitsu, and Muay Thai. I mean, that's, it's quite a few things. And then, of course, the other kid's face, you can see the look of insecurity and uncertainty on his face. Yeah, everyone in the room kind of reacts like, oh, well, this is going to be over quick. And, we're going to see if this kid really does know boxing, jiu-jitsu, and Muay Thai. We're going to see that reflected in his fighting ability. I'm curious to see that and break it down. And then I'm also curious to see Jake Paul's coaching ability, because he does coach Michael Sanzone, the guy who's on the right, in this TikTok battle. And so does Tayler Holder a little bit. So we're going to see their boxing advice. Jake Paul has been working with professional fighters and is fighting Nate Robinson coming up soon. He has been sparring professional fighters, working with professional coaches. So it's going to be interesting to see the advice that he gives Michael Sanzone. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so I think we're gonna need a face-off cinematically.
Fighters.
Okay, so right there, just off that little feint that kid threw, I will call them TikToker 1 and TikToker 2. TikToker 2 is in the white shorts. TikToker 2 is not in the white shorts. And that's about as far as we're going to go with this. Sorry. But TikToker 1 throws okay, so right away we see there is a little bit of boxing skill right out the bat. These TikTokers not only know how to body roll and twerk and act like complete fuckboys on an app, they also know a thing or two about boxing, perhaps, because what we just saw out of fuckboy number 1 here is that TikToker number 1, sorry about that, out of TikTok number 1 here, is that he threw a feint, and then TikTok number 2 reacted to that feint with a slight pullback. So we already see there is a bit of knowledge, because if you don't know anything about boxing, you probably don't know anything about feints or how to use them like this TikTok 1 just did. And you also wouldn't really know about the pullback either, like TikTok just 2 did. So already we see there's a little bit of boxing skill already. Now, I will say TikTok number 2 was a bit reactive to that feint. And if you can get someone reactive like that and already moving based off of a feint, you can potentially find an opening. So we'll see if TikTok number 1 can find anything. And if TikTok number 2 really does know boxing, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, Tai Chi, and the art of Mexican judo, as in you don't know who you messing with, Holmes.
Get that hand up, boy.
There you go.
That is Michael.
Who's that jab like?
Whoa. TikTok number 1 showing some moves here. Looks like he might be the one who actually knows boxing, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. But anyways, I did make a mistake. I apologize. They're both in white shorts, so we're going to have to figure out another way to categorize them. But they will still be TikTok number 1 and 2. Perhaps in the next audio clip, I'll figure out another way we can categorize these TikTokers. But yeah, no, TikTok number 1 actually knows how to use some feints and actually just caught TikTok number 2 with a counter, which I'm going to replay right now, which is actually pretty impressive considering he's the one who isn't skilled in martial arts. So we'll see here. It looks like TikTok number 2 may have been lying. TikTok number 1 is the ninja assassin this whole time. So we're going to see. Let's continue watching.
There it is, man. There you go, Cal.
Break.
There you go, Cal.
There you go, baby.
Let's go.
Rush in. Don't rush in. Don't rush in.
Woo, Cal. There you go, baby. There you go, Cal. Let's go, Cal. Let's go, Cal.
Let's go.
All right, guys, so I did it. I found a way to identify our TikTok boys, and that is that TikTok number 1 has black gloves on and white shorts, and TikTok number 2 has white shorts and white gloves. So that's how we're going to distinguish them. So TikTok number 1 in the black gloves. Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to conjecture that TikTok number 2 in the white gloves and white shorts is full of shit and just completely lied. I don't think he has any sort of experience in any sort of boxing or Muay Thai. His stand-up does not really reflect it whatsoever. He's swinging super wide, which is getting him caught, dipping his head. He's off balance. He's not even covering up, which is also, leaving him vulnerable to being caught, which he is getting caught. So I'm going to say at this point, he's kind of just a liar. One thing I do like about TikTok number 2, though, is that, TikTok number 1 with the white gloves, with the black gloves and white shorts, is that he actually has a decent base, and he has the pullback down. He understands that, like, if someone swings really wide, you just kind of pull back, wait for them to be exposed, and then you come in with a counter. And he's actually caught this Michael guy, TikTok number 2, quite a few times with this technique. He also seems to have a better judgment of like when to strike and when not to. So I'm going to say TikTok number 1 is taking the cake here. And TikTok number 2 needs to start working on his dance moves and his fight moves as well, because it's not looking too good for him.
In through your nose, out through your mouth. Yo, use your distance, bro. Pop him with the jabs. Don't just put your head down and go in there.
Let's go, boy.
All right, so Coach Tayler comes in and he says, yo, Michael, my TikTok brother, you want to do a dance after this? And Michael's like, yeah, let's do it. And they're like, word. Anyways, so Tayler comes in and he says, yo, breathe through your in through the nose, out through the mouth, which is good advice, good advice. You should breathe and you should, sometimes people do it in through the nose, out through the mouth. Sometimes they do it straight up the ass and out the mouth. Sometimes they do it in the mouth and up the ass. Out the ass, I guess. It depends. But not bad advice. But then he says, use your jab, which is, pretty okay, pretty standard. The guy's not using his jab a whole lot. He says, don't just go in there. Don't just put your head down and throw. And yeah, that's true. Well, the thing is, you can put your head down and throw if it's the right situation. He's just doing it like every time. So it's decent advice. The only problem I have with that is usually when you're giving advice, you want to tell your fighter what to do and not what not to do, because then if a fighter just goes back to the corner and all they hear is what not to do, they're just going to be thinking about the things that they're doing wrong. They're not going to be thinking about the things that they should do right. So if I was in that position, I would have said, hey, make sure when you throw, keep your hands up, stay centered, stay on your feet. If you're going to throw an overhand right, make sure your left hand is there to protect you, and make sure you come back and you're ready and you're in your stance, maybe even circle out. You know what I mean? And that's it. So it's not bad advice. It's just he's telling him what not to do and not following up with what he should do, which lots of times better to just not even tell them what they're doing wrong. Just tell them what they need to be doing right, so they can focus on that. Because when you're fighting in there, you can only think about so many things. So that's the only thing I would say for that. But other than that, good advice on Taylor's end. Let's keep watching. Oof, TikTok number 2 took that advice and just ran with it. Wait, so now we see here, I'm gonna play this back. So he actually doesn't do anything that different. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was kind of more the positioning of TikToker number 1. He kind of messed up on that, and he like leaned back way too far and just like put his hand out. It was a horrible defense, very uncoordinated defense. And it just so happened that he threw the right punch at the right time, TikTok number 1. But as you can see, he still threw it horribly. He's massively overextended, and his back foot even comes off, and he leaves himself wide open. So it's almost like he didn't do that much different. He just kind of hit the mark right on this one. And also the other guy's defense was absolutely horrible. So it was a mixture of throwing, I guess, somewhat of a... I don't know. It was just a mixture of throwing a punch and then someone having a horrible defense. That's really all that was. The headpiece, the headgear flying off there, it does look cool and impressive. Really doesn't mean anything, though. That can happen. You could just hit someone in the right angle, not even that hard, and the headgear will fly off. So that's not super impressive. But he did land, which is cool. TikTok number 2 making a comeback. See how this goes.
You're coming in too hard. You need to exchange, and then back off. Because he's getting you when you start to get wild. And when he starts to go crazy, put your hands there.
All right, so as we saw by that last little boxing exchange there, it didn't look like he was really listening to Taylor's advice. He was still overextending, throwing punches from very far distance and throwing them very wildly, off-balanced, pretty much doing all the same stuff. That's why he had to get a career as a TikToker, because he couldn't make it as a boxer. No, I'm just messing around. But so Taylor's advice didn't work. This is now we see Jake's advice, and Jake basically tells him... see, what does Jake tell him? Okay, and Jake basically tells him he's getting you when you're going wild. You need to exchange, and then back up. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't have too much of a bone to pick with that. But see, the thing is, when you say he's getting you when you're, I mean, obviously Jake's not a coach, and Jake himself is new to boxing. So when you say he's getting you when you're going wild, that's very vague. I mean, you could be throwing a heavy amount of punches and be going wild, so to speak, but, be very controlled and in and out, moving your head and not getting caught. But what Jake means that he's not saying is you're overextending, you're throwing from very far out, your footwork's all out of whack, and you're leaving yourself super exposed, you're leaving your head out there. That's what he's not specifying. The only thing is that Michael here isn't going to understand that as someone who's clearly probably never boxed a day in his life, contrary to what he says. And someone who's not going to have any idea what that really means. So that's the only thing about that is he's not being very specific, which probably isn't going to help Michael here too much. I don't know really what could help Michael at this point. I think he just needs to train it at this point. But and then he says, this is probably the best thing he says at the end. He says, when he goes crazy, make sure you put your hands up. That's probably the best thing he could have said. So we'll see if he takes any of this advice. Hopefully he does. And we'll see how TikTok number 2 does. Let's get into it.
Okay, last round.
There it is.
There you go. Oh, guys.
Whoa. TikTok number 2 just went level 10 on his fellow TikToker number 1. I mean, this dude just got like 10. This dude just gained like 5 years of boxing in like, I don't know, like freaking 1 minute in his break. I don't know what Jake Paul's telling this kid, but this kid apparently now has turned into somewhat of a high level boxer. I mean, he could be fighting in the pros soon. He could be fighting Conor McGregor. He could be the reason Conor McGregor comes out of retirement to box this fucking kid. Holy shit. No, I'm just messing around. But, okay, so I'll be honest though, what he just did is actually really impressive in a way that's funny because I don't think he has any idea what he just did and how good and slick it was. So I'm actually going to break this down. Now, keep in mind, I don't think he actually understands anything of what he's doing. Anything of what he's doing. Sometimes when you learn a new skill, you'll do something by accident that's like really good or high level and you don't really realize it and you can't really do it again because it was by accident. It's called, the beginner's luck. I kind of think that's what this was because what he just did was actually really slick. So I'm going to break this down right now. I'm going to play it back and break it down for you step by step what he just did because it was actually like pretty cool. And then we'll go to the next segment. All right, so we're going to see how our boy Michael does here. Now, I can already tell he's being a lot more patient. He's waiting for his opportunity. He sees that left hand of his opponent low, comes in with a long jab, throws a nice cross, and then he brings his back foot forward. This is something that Triple G does, and then he sets himself up for another cross, and then he steps on the guy's foot, trapping him, and then he pushes him. That's actually something high-level boxers do. That's what Triple G does a lot. Then he comes here, sees that the guy's left hand is low, throws an overhand right when moving his head off the line, just dodging that uppercut coming his way, which is beautiful. That's like pro-level boxing right there. And it's like he just did that. Like I said, I don't know if he's really aware of what he just did because it was very high level. It's almost like he did it by accident because right after this scene, he goes back to swinging very wild. But let's look at this again. Throws a nice long jab, then throws a cross, brings the back leg through so he can set up another cross, as we see here. Boom, and then he steps on his toe, or his foot on accident, right? And then he pushes him. It's pretty funny. Guy loses his shoe. Then look at this. His opponent throws the uppercut. He moves his head to the left and throws the overhand right at the same time. Boom. Beautiful. Damn. Maybe I need to start doing TikTok. Then he lands another one. Then he catches one because he doesn't have his hands up. But that was pretty good. All right, let's watch the next scene.
Oh, he's leaking! He's leaking! Come on, man! He's leaking! Come on, Michael! Come on, Michael!
That right there was actually a pretty nice counter by TikTok number 2. So I'm going to break this down. This is what you call a pullback in boxing, where you, especially if you can tell someone is throwing really heavy and they're overextending, like TikTok number 2 seems to still be doing, even though he just landed that really nice, masterful combo with that good footwork. Like I said, I think that was beginner's luck, because we see a couple seconds later he still goes back to doing his errors and his things that are not correct in boxing. So I would bet a lot of money that was beginner's luck, what he just did in that last clip here. So TikTok number 1 here sees that he's throwing a big right, and he slips back, waits for him to overextend and his face to be exposed, as you see here, and then comes back with a really nice, wasn't a great punch. They're both unexperienced, but comes back with a good enough counter to catch him. That's a pretty slick move. He's got that pullback down. So I like it. I like it. I like how these kids in the background here have their shirt off. It's just like, it's like in the contract of TikTok, right? Whenever you're in a vicinity where you can show off, you do it. There's no questions asked. You fucking do it, right? It's part of being a TikTok. It's part of being a fuckboy as well. And these kids are living up to it to a T. So the round ends here, and my dudes are spent, as you can see. Not a lot of energy left. They're going to have a lot of trouble making TikTok videos after this. Going to have to drink a fuckboy shake or go to Whole Foods, something like that. I don't know. But either way, yeah, they're spent. There's nothing left in the tank. They don't know what they're doing. They probably don't know how to breathe properly either, which gasses you out real quick. But valiant effort on both of their parts. I would say TikTok number 1 actually won. He edged him out. He won rounds 1 and 2. But TikTok number 2 definitely won round 3 pretty decisively. So let's see how they score this one.
Good job, Michael.
Jake, first time alive.
You kicked some ass, bro. How do you feel? Man, you good?
I feel fine. It's so hot. So hot.
Yo, I just want to say one thing, first of all, for both of you guys, no matter whoever's watching this video or whoever was here that could put their input in on anything, me and Jake can speak for ourselves. It takes a real man to get in the ring and even, do this.
We went to the judges' scorecards. We're proud of both of you today, and the judges here, both pro boxer. We both concluded that is a draw.
Draw. Let's go! You guys both got in there, fought your ass off.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. There it is. The TikTok battle of the century. Fuckboy 1, Fuckboy 2, TikTok 1, TikTok 2, however you want to judge it. It is a tie. They will have to do a Fuckboy dance this coming Friday to see which one has the better moves, which one has better body rolls, and of course, which one has the better abs. Stay tuned. That will actually be next Friday. Tickets will be available in the description. But no, I'm just fucking around. But yeah, I don't know. It's not a whole lot to say about that. I do think TikTok number 1 won, but you got to give the fans what they want to see. You gotta make it a draw. This is like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Even though Tyson Fury clearly won, they got to make it a draw so they can do a second one, which I really hope they don't do because that was kind of ugly. But anyways, this is a story called Fighting. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you've enjoyed my breakdown. Hope you thought it was somewhat valuable. If not, well, I'm sorry. Unsubscribe. Yeah, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.